Geez, who put that in there? Tell me. Wire. Oh, man. Snuck up on me again, didn't you, kids? Well, it's been about 8 days since we painted this car. So now it's time to go ahead and get her unmasked. See how good we did or not. We're going to fix our mistakes. Okay, mine. It's not the paint's fault. It's my fault. I'll show you how to wet sand and repair some of these places. Get the buffer out. I've got some compound that's about 8 years old and really dried out. Should work just fine. And hopefully, after a long Saturday night's work, we'll have a nice, shinier MGA. First, we got to get all this stuff off. Jeez. Got her all unmasked. So it looks kind of shiny yet hazy. Part of that's the overspray that was in the air and it settled on it. It's going to do that. Now, see back here. That's just how rough that surface looks. It's not even really, it is orange peel, but it's worse than that. Again, this is where I couldn't see real good, and when my final, and I think actually I had my final bit of clear coat, and I was like, ran out, and there you go. Hoping that it would melt into the other coats, it just didn't quite do that. You know, so there. You see a little bit of dryness right here and through here. We got plenty of clear, and I don't think I'm worried about not having enough clear. A little bit of orange peel right on top. See if you can see it. See the roughness? That's orange peel. There's orange peel through there. We want to sand all that out. Now there's places on this car I'm not going to worry about. There's something happened there. You know, like the edges here. You're not going to see those edges. There's fender welt that goes in there, and your eye's not going to look in between that fender welt and go, ooh, you know. We want to concentrate the flat sides that reflect all the light. So all the top of the car, especially these flat sides of the fenders and the doors. We have some orange peel in here, which ain't very bad. Isn't very bad, sorry. But really, what I'm surprised about, to be honest, is how straight the body turned out. For as beat up, and there's a little bit of, you know, waves at you just a little bit, sort of. But it really is pretty straight. For I've gotten beat up on all sides of the car 1,300 times with a baseball bat and maybe one golf club. Turned out pretty good. Let me get set up for the first step. I'll show you. We're going to start here. This is the worst part. We get through this, the rest of it's okay. Right below your knees down there, I got a clean bucket of water. Got my hard block. I can use that as a squeegee. Got my soft spongy block that I really love so much. I couldn't find it. I was freaking out. And some soaking in the water 1000 grit wet sandpaper. First, I have this dry piece of Scotch-Brite. That equates to about a 500 grit. And since this is pretty rough, I'm just going to go over it just real quick. You can kind of see right here, it's a little rough right here. It's not shiny, but it is up here, and it kind of is down here. We're going to make it look worse before we make it look better. So I'm just going to knock the tops off. of the imperfections, if that makes any sense. I'll go ahead and get this whole panel. Not necessarily with the Scotch-Brite, because this is just for this rougher area. That's probably good. We'll quit. Yeah, you can kind of see the whiteness, how it looks a little white. I'm getting my soft blocker going. Gonna do the usual. Wrap her around there. I'll just hold it like that. It'll take a bit to get it going. And you see the white stuff? That's clear coat. We start seeing green stuff, we're screwed. That means we burnt through somewhere, and we probably need to re-clear this whole section of the car. Now, I'm going to stay away from my edges. I can get close, but I'm not going to buff those edges, so why sand them? There's a reason why I'm not going to buff them. And you can feel, you can hear the sound down here. It's not as bad, a little bit. You can hear how rough that is. Get my microfiber, brand new one. Any of this stuff, you want to make sure you don't have contaminants, some kind of piece of dirt in your water or on your sandpaper or on your blocks, because you'll just scratch the crap out of everything. And see, that feels a lot better. And again, it's gonna look white like this until we go to buff it. But I've got to do a little bit more. I'll probably do this whole section in 1000, and then I'll go over it again real quick with 2000. I just make it a little bit easier to buff. But my Cadillac, I just did it in 1000 and buff the whole car that way, and you can do that. I want to make it a little bit easier and not, burn the paint trying to get it to polish up. So now you see the shiny spots? That's where we haven't got her good enough yet. And this just it was just all rough. It needs to be a little bit better, but it's getting there. You see, I still see a little bit of shiny. We want to get rid of that. Yeah, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. When we get this done, then I'll show you. Now as that dries, we can see you don't really see any shiny spots except around the edges. And that's okay. It's a little blotchy over there, and I'm not sure why. And I sanded it again, make sure I didn't have green. I had white, so it's clear. So it should buff out just fine. Now, we're going to go ahead and find the buffer and the compound. go at it a little bit, just so we got a process for straightening this whole car out. Buffer out. This is a custom shop buffer. I think I gave $200 for this probably 8 years ago, a little less. I bought it from TCI, which is the same place I bought the paint for this car. It's a halfway decent place, seems like. You get stuff pretty quick. And you don't have to spend $200 on something like this. But what you need to do is have a legit buffer that has settings on it. It needs to be variable speed, whether it's with the trigger or with a knob like this. This has like 5 or 6 settings and goes to max. I'm going to go and start with minimum, just to start getting the compound worked in there into all our crevices, and then slowly speed up a little bit to get the buffing, the shine to come out. But I want to clean it first, and this has been laying around. I want to make sure I don't have any kind of rock or something stuck in it, a piece of junk, right, or old hardened up compound, because it'll actually scratch it. So all I'm going to do is use some kind of tool or something. They make a thing for it. I never bought one. Okay. Compound. This is what I like, all right? And this is, I don't have a whole lot of it, and it doesn't take very much, but hopefully we won't need all this. If not, I've got to go buy some. I've got some other 3M stuff that'll work, I think, so. But all I'm going to do, I get the stupid thing open. There we go. All right. There's a little stripe or so, right? Kind of. This stuff gets messy. Stay off my edges, and I'll explain that here in just a little bit. It's starting to come around, but I've got a little something funny going on right here. Figured it out. I don't know if it's the wool pad or the compound, but I changed compounds and went to the waffle. And this is the heavy cut waffle pad, right? It tells you on the back the colors and what they're for. This is heavy cut, and it took nothing. And look at that. I mean, looks really nice. So I don't know what was going on with that other pad, and maybe it's too dry or something. I don't know, but we're going to go with the waffle pads. And I still have some. See, now that I can see some more orange peel down through here, I'm going to go ahead and finish this. And when I see my orange peel, I know the spots that I want to redo. Because, man, it's hard to let it go right in the middle of the panel and see some orange peel when it looks so nice like this. This is the splotchy area I was worried about, and I'm like, man, I don't have to re-clear this whole thing, but, man, that's pretty. And we got some little stuff, and we'll go to of course, a finer polish and a finer waffle pad, and that's going to look nice. You can see my orange peel right here. You can kind of see around the edges of my shoulder there. Yep. And then no orange peel when you get down here. All right, be right back. Well, still a little orange peely on this side, but we're gonna be going over it again with the light polish, and it's gonna take it a little bit down a little bit further. I did do this edge. I suggest that you guys don't, but it was bugging me to death. So I went ahead and wet sanded that edge all the way to here. And what you got to remember is the rotation of your head. Your pad on this particular one, as I'm looking away from it, it goes clockwise. So when I go over that edge, this pad has to go off the edge. If I use this part of the pad where it's going down, going this way, it will catch that edge and rip the paint right off of it. Ask me how I know. I had to touch up the Cadillac a couple times. But if it goes off the edge and you know, and you're good at knowing the direction and all that, that's fine to do. You just go off the edge. Don't go into the edge. It'll rip the paint off. So, but yeah, pretty fair. I did go ahead and get the medium grade polish, waffle thing there, you know, just to see what it would do. This is turning out pretty nice. Think of this done in a nice coat of synthetic wax on top of it. Oh, it's gonna be gorgeous. This cinder's done sanded, and 1,000. I might just leave it at 1,000. We'll see how. I know it'll buff out. So, little section here done. Now we'll do this trunk lid. Now I might have pointed out. See this waviness. I know for a fact that's from too much clear, and it doesn't show up on camera very good. There you go. You kind of see it right here. And then the reflection, see it? I know for a fact that's too much clear, so I'm not going to be bashful about sanding it. I'm going to go get this done, but I'm going to use a hard block on that. I want to make sure I use a hard block. If I use a soft block, especially use a soft block on a piece of trash like that, soft block will just go around it. It'll kind of knock it down, but it'll still be there. And that soft block will get in the little crevices and sand it, and it'll look good till you go to buff it, and there it is again. So I'm going to try my best to just do really a flat block on this whole thing, a hard block. And of course the curvies and all that, I use my soft block. I like that thing. Just scrubby, scrubby, scrubby.
I killed a snake. I killed a snake. I didn't want to, but it just looked so damn creepy. I killed a snake. I killed a snake. With the puff of air from a gun that shoots pellets and BB. He was hanging out in my tree, and he scared the bejeebers out of me, so I killed a snake. I killed a snake. I know a squirrel. I killed a snake. He used to live in the cage on the back porch of my house. I know a squirrel. I killed a snake. Yeah, we raised him up from when he weren't no bigger than a mouse. One day we set him free. Now he lives up in the tree where I killed the snake. I killed the snake. There ain't too many critters I don't take a liking to, but I think snakes ought to stay put on the ground. How about you? So I killed a snake. I killed a snake. Well, he was 4 feet long, as big around as a tailpipe. I killed a snake. I killed a snake. But he scared the you-know-what out of me, so I killed the snake. I killed the snake. I killed the snake. I killed the snake.
You can see where I haven't sanded enough. And little shiny places and little that'll show up. So what I want to do is, especially top of the vehicle, around these rounded edges and down, so far. I'm not going to do the rocker panels. I could, but I'm not going to. There's like right there. It's not quite good enough yet. This whole little thing right through here. I want to try to get that up here a little bit, and then the edge. See the edge where it's still shiny right here. We could really probably go without doing that, to be honest, but there's a little bit of orange peel still in there. So I'll tell you kids, my plan, I still yet to do this, finish this, get that done. We're gonna get this buffed out so the old girl's rear end looks good. Then we've got a big runny saggy area I'm going to show you how to fix, get that cleaned up and buffed out. I'm going to do the rest of this on my own time. I don't know that I want to be out here till 4 in the morning sanding again. Back half is sanded. You can see the difference here. All right. Again, down inside here, the more I sand, the harder it is to get in there and buff. Not that I know for a fact, but I imagine it's going to be. So we'll start with the trunk lid, more than likely. Go on the sides, work our way around. This paint here is actually pretty good. It's not very. It'll buff out a little bit, but like I said, I don't want to get. I already got a little too close down inside here. Just trying to get fancy, and I could spend the next 2 years sanding and buffing on this, and it still will not be perfect, because nothing's perfect. So let's just try to make the rest of this look like that. Pass with the rough waffle pad, the coarse one. I mean, you can see the fogginess to it. Of course, the visqueen lights kind of make it foggy looking anyhow, but it does have a fogginess to it. There's a few spots that are going to come around once we go over it a couple more times. And you just have to keep in mind that it did look like this. All right? It looked like this. All that orange peel. So that will be gone just like this is. Remember the big ripply place we had? It's gone. Absolutely gone. A lot of work. A lot of work. And I want to show you a spot here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. You can see that spot, right? That's actually where the clear has got burnt. So like me, you guys, there's another little spot over here. You can't see it, but I can feel it right there. You can tend to keep putting compound on it, which can kind of clear it up, and you keep digging on it because you're like, that won't come off. What is that? Well, what's happened, you've got the metal so hot, like I did here, caught the edge at too high a speed, not being careful, and you heat up the metal, it actually burns the clear. Now, probably what I'll do is spot wet sand that, and then go over it again, intentionally, carefully, and it'll go away. I had several spots I did that to, but I'm not going to worry about it till I've got to go over this thing 2 or 3 more times, right? So just keep that in mind. You got to learn your products, your buffer, your paint. Everything's different. Even from that Cadillac I painted, this is acting totally different. Just got to figure out what works. It's a little dull, but once I get to the finer grade compounds and the waffle pads, bling. See that? A big old sag. I was loading her on there, tried to get fancy. Luckily, this is the only place this happened to. I have no runs, nowhere else, just right here. There's also a chunk of something. Where'd I see it? Right there. I don't know what that is. I get most of it with my thumbnail, but I'm gonna show you a trick how to fix this. Let me get set up. If you wanted to take a hard block and just try to sand that off, what's going to happen before you get that sanded down to the level of the rest of the playing field, you're going to burn through over here and over here. Ask me how I know. I did it on my Cadillac. But a buddy of mine, C. Dell Customs or Creations, one or the other. I'm going to put the link to his channel in the description. That way, if you guys really want to see an expert do his stuff and teach you some stuff, go there, right? But what I'm going to do, we're going to shave her off, right? If you ever change the gasket, valve cover gasket, some of you might have done stuff like that. You can take a razor blade and shave that old gasket off without trying to dig and then putting gouges in everything, right? You can just So let me see what I can do here. Now you can't go like this or like that. You just want to cut off the top of your run. This will also keep me from tearing up the surrounding clear. And you can get to it a little bit, but it's okay. Now you see the color difference? Now this has a little bit of something when we're done. It's okay. So you see the clear coat coming off there, right? I can actually use the light behind the razor blade to make sure I have light on both sides of my high spot. That way I don't get into the surrounding clear coat too much, because we know there's plenty of clear coat here. So I'm gonna keep going until it starts to fade out. You see where I'm touching on the edges, that's not a big deal. It's thicker here than it is here because you can see it's skinnier. But I do want to thank Wendell for really making some really good videos. Now he's not flashy. He's got some good blues music he likes to play on there. I don't think I've seen a video ever with his face on it, but a very, very nice gentleman. He had a Cadillac like the one I was redoing years ago, and that's how he and I got to talking, and I can say we're buddies. I like to hook up with him sometime. Do a little hanging out, you know. So I'm just working my way around a little bit at a time, using my finger. And using the light behind my razor blade. Stuff like this takes time. I tell you what, when you got to fix your mistakes like this one, they're less likely to happen again, because I know how I did it. I know how I did it. I got too fancy, too heavy with the clear, and I started trying to fall off the car. You know, so it's less likely to happen again. You don't want to go too, don't press real hard, just keep shaving the top off. And once we're done, I'll take a hard block and go across that, clean it up. And more than likely, you won't be able to tell there was anything there. He's going. That's pretty thick. That Cadillac, I had a sag all the way across the quarter panel. Probably took me 2 hours to get rid of it this way. Like Wendell had commented on one of my videos, said, "Hey, if you look through my videos, I show a trick how to fix that." Well, I went looking, found it. You can see that line starting to get thicker and thicker. I can still feel it. Just holding it up, perpendicular, scraping. Don't get underneath it and try to dig. Puppy's about down there. Just got a little bit on the bottom side. It's almost gone. I just want to get it down enough that I can sand it with a flat block or a hard block. And not burn through around the edges and still have a big hump, or like a camel sitting on the top of the car. Really, you can take a razor blade, do this over this whole car, and all it's going to do is knock off the high spots. like I said, I don't care if there's a little something you can see there and we're done and it's all polished up, but boy, it's going to be a lot better than what it was. You just almost just drag that razor blade and it'll take it off. All right, you can set up with a flat block and I'll show you. Get my little spot down here, maybe. I don't know. Well, kids, luck would have it. Last couple little segments there had no sound. I just hope this one does. I don't know what happened. It's not important. You got it. It buffed out. You saw what I did. Little trick, right? So, we painted this thing in a barn in a visqueen tint. All by ourselves, and it's going to look nice once we get a couple more processes down. What I want you guys to do is to tell me, do you want to see the rest of that part of it? I'm going to buy one of the little palm sanders with a little sticky, 3000 grit, whatever, and probably go over the whole thing again. I don't know, but I'm going to do that to do the front because, man, it's a thing. It's a shoulder thing. But I think it's worth the investment to get into something like that. Maybe save me a little bit of time. So just let me know what you think. If you want to see all that, we'll do it. We're going to get this thing polished up, push it over the side, get the barn cleaned out, start on another project. You'll have to wait. I'm not telling you. But next week, come Thursday, you'll see me do the sit down Uncle Mike thing. And I understand if some of you don't like that sort of thing, I get it. I do it for me because I enjoy doing it. If you like watching it, great. If you don't have to watch it. It's cool. I understand it's a little bit different. But I enjoy doing it, so that's why I do it. But then after that, next weekend we'll be gone having a good time over the weekend, me and the family, and I need it. I spent most of my vacation painting this thing. So I'm going to take the weekend off. I am, however, going to have a video for you. Something cute, something fun. You know, you just let me know if you like it or not. I'm good with whatever. So there we go. This thing's gonna shine like a green diamond. Is there such a thing? I think it's pink diamond. No. Anyway, I really hope you guys have a good week. I couldn't have done all this stuff without you. I wouldn't be nearly as far. Thinking that I have to show you guys something every week, and I'm actually very grateful. I'm grateful for all the great comments I get, the likes and the shares. Keep it up. Let's keep doing this thing and get more people into our little friendship, our little community friendship thing, right? So we're going to see you soon. Hope you guys have a great week. We'll see you Thursday and Saturday, just in a little bit different way. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. I'm all about it. Junk out. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah. Okay. Ooh, I need to go to bed.